This gun is ergonomic, but so is this gun. This gun is good for hunting, but so is this gun. This gun is accurate, but so is this gun. This gun is fun to shoot, but so is this gun. So if I can have all that in a lever action, why do I need an AR-15? Coming up on Modern Mountain Man. You know, if you're in the firearms community and you're a fan of the modern sporting rifle, the AR-15, somebody has probably asked you that question: why do you need an AR-15? And before I answer that question, I want to address the nature of that question. That's a loaded question. It's like me asking you, hey, are you still smoking crack? Or hey, are you still beating your wife? There's not a good answer to that because the answer presumes something. But I want you to, for a moment, I'm going to read a couple quotes to you, historical quotes, and I want you to keep that question in the back of your mind, particularly underline, highlight, and italicize, boldface the word need. The word need. Read this quote to you from Karl Marx. From each according to his ability to each according to his needs. Let me read you another one, because Karl Marx, that wasn't an original idea to him. He borrowed that idea from a French communist, Morelly. He said this in his Sacred Fundamental Laws: nothing in society will belong to anyone, either a personal possession or as capital goods, except the things for which a person has immediate use for, either his needs, pleasure, or his daily work. Needs. Guys, don't ask an American why you need an AR-15, because in America, possessions are not need-based. We're a capitalist. It's not about what I need. In communism, yeah, it's completely based on what you need, and the government is only going to give you your bare necessities. I don't need this blue shirt and this orange hat, and they don't match each other, and I did that on purpose. I don't need this, but I want it today. I don't need 10 pairs of shoes. I don't need to have chicken with my steak. But what do I want? If you're asking me why I need an AR-15, your question is fundamentally flawed. And I hear Marxist communist rhetoric all through that question. I want to take a moment, if we can look at those historical quotes as to where your question is based out of. I want to answer you not the question you asked, but the question you should have asked: why do I want an AR-15? Let's look at some of the quotes of our founding fathers. Some of these quotes are from men who were part of the framing of the Constitution. Some of these other quotes are from men who were contemporaries of those men who would have known them well and understood why they gave us the Second Amendment. I'm going to copy and paste these quotes into the status in case you need them for anything. If you want to copy and paste them, use them for statuses. On Instagram this week, if you're not following me, Modern Mountain Man NRV, go ahead and follow me there. I'm going to meme the heck out of these quotes the best that I can, but go ahead and check these out. In regards to the question of need or necessity, check out what William Pitt said. Necessity is the plea of every infringement on human freedom. It is the argument of tyrants and the creed of slaves. Why do you need creed of slave? Thomas Jefferson, in the subject of slavery, said this: I prefer dangerous freedom to peaceful slavery. George Mason said this, referencing advice given to the British Parliament by Pennsylvania Governor Sir William Keith. To disarm the people is the most effectual way to enslave them. Noah Webster said this: before a standing army can rule, the people must be disarmed, as they are in almost every country in Europe. Remember that advice that with the Europeans about how to enslave people by taking their guns away? As they are in almost every country in Europe. The superior power in America cannot enforce unjust laws by the sword, because the whole body of the people are armed and constitute a force superior to any band of regular troops. A force superior to any band of regular troops? It doesn't sound like the Second Amendment protects my right to have a black powder musket. It sounds like superior to any troops. It sounds like if the Army has M4s, I need an AR. Thomas Jefferson said this: "What country can preserve its liberties if their rulers are not warned from time to time that their people preserve the spirit of resistance? Let them take arms." Benjamin Franklin said this: "They that give up essential liberties to obtain temporary safety deserve neither liberty nor safety." I think that quote is particularly pertinent to what we're going through right now. People giving up essential liberties for temporary safety. Because if you see right now in England, they gave up some essential liberties for temporary safety. And guess what? Now they are actually banning knives and having knife buybacks in England. It's crazy. James Madison said this: "The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. A well-regulated militia composed of the body of the people trained to arms is the best and most natural defense for a free country." Patrick Henry, Mr. Give Me Liberty or Give Me Death, said this: "Guard with jealous attention the public liberty. Suspect everyone who approaches it, that jewel. Unfortunately, nothing will preserve it but downright force. Whenever you give up that force, you are ruined. The great object is that every man be armed, and everyone who is able might have a gun." St. George Tucker in the Blackstone Commentaries on the Laws of England said this: "This may be considered as the true palladium of liberty. The right of self-defense is the first law of nature. In most governments, it has been the study of rulers to confine this right with the narrowest limits possible." Sound like gun control to you? "Whenever a standing armies are kept up, and the right of the people to keep and bear arms is under any color or pretext whatsoever prohibited, liberty, if not already is annihilated, is on the brink of destruction." Alexander Hamilton said this: "If any circumstance should at any time oblige the government to form an army of any magnitude, that the army can be formidable to the liberties of the people, while they are the large body of citizens little, if at all, inferior to them in discipline and use of arms." I want you to catch that. I'm going to reread that one more time, just because I know this is old language and there's a lot of run-ons and commas in this one. I'm going to read: "If in any circumstance should at any time oblige the government to form an army of any magnitude, that the army can be formidable to the liberties of the people, while there is a large body of citizens, little if at all inferior to the discipline and use of arms, who stand ready to defend their own rights and those of their fellow citizens. This appears to me to be the only substitute that can be devised for a standing army, and at best possible security against it, should it exist." Don't ask me why I need an AR-15. Ask me why I want an AR-15. And if you ask me that question, I will give you this simple answer: I want an AR-15 so that I will never need an AR-15.